We are turning back to our coverage of the now defunct Charles City processing plant, Pure Prairie Poultry.
Now, earlier this morning, we took you inside that plant and allegations of inhumane treatment of thousands of chickens on their way to slaughter, but that neglect reportedly didn't end there.
Yeah, ABC 6 News reporter Hannah Holland has been following this story for us since the moment that plant closed its doors many months ago, and she joins us here now in studio with more. Hannah, good morning. I understand the producers for Pure Prairie are alleging the company inhumanely treated the animals as well.
Yeah, Carly and Axel, good morning. That's right. Producer partners are alleging the neglect started when the company could no longer afford to feed the birds. And the farmers I spoke to say they were helpless as they stood by and watched the birds they had raised starve.
When Wisconsin farmers Dawn and Terry Filla signed the dotted line to become producers for Pure Prairie Poultry, they thought it was a win-win agreement for both sides. But they say that's not what happened.
We thought they were good people. We could trust them and, meaning hold their end up to everything, because we did. And then they lied to us.
Their first flock of chicks arrived in late 2022, and for the first year of their contract, everything was going well. So well that the Filas bought another barn, producing a total of 62,000 chickens for the company. But in 2024, red flags began to rise as feed in the barns was running low and the money stopped coming in.
Well, financially, we couldn't because we haven't been paid in months. So we didn't have, financially, we didn't have any money to do it.
The Filas didn't have the money to feed the birds, and under their contract, they weren't legally allowed to. Pure Prairie was exclusively responsible for delivering, providing, and paying for the feed. And in an affidavit, Dawn said the agreement kept them from supplying their own feed to the chickens. Dawn and Terry waited for another delivery of food, which never came.
Why wasn't there money to pay the feed bill? There should have been plenty of money to pay the feed bill.
And on September 28th, 2024, the food bins were completely empty. Day in and day out, they called their partner company, saying the chickens were extremely hungry. Pure Prairie reportedly told them that they would deliver feed when they could and advised Terry and Dawn to turn off the lights in the barn so the chickens would be less active.
They didn't have any feed and they were just hungry and they're just pecking on the inside of the walls. It was just very... Sometimes you could call me just cry or you just want to leave because you didn't want to hear that.
But even if they had the feed, they would not have been able to give it to their flock.
They were that hungry that you turn them off, turn the feed on, and they would have killed each other for it.
Then they found out the Charles City plant had closed its doors. They waited days on end for the company to send someone to load out their birds, all while their chickens starved, some dying and others resorting to eating each other.
They would tell us they're coming to get the birds and they wouldn't show up.
So Dawn took to Facebook, posting that they were giving away all of their birds for free. And after 19 days with no food, their barns were finally cleared out.
It just felt very good to just give them away because people wanted them. And what was I going to do with 62,000 birds?
And just like those former employees, Dawn also wants accountability, which is why the Animal Partisan and Humane Farming Association sent a letter to the Buffalo County District Attorney calling for charges to be filed, 15 counts of abandonment and 15 counts of depriving an animal of food. The Buffalo County District Attorney did not respond to our request for comment.
There should have been action taken immediately. There is no reason the growers are sitting left with nothing, left hanging, with no explanation as to why or nobody being held accountable for their actions.
Last week, I reached out to former executives at the company about the allegations against them. Here are a few of the questions I asked. Did you know the plant was on the verge of closure, and were your employees and producers made aware? Was there a plan created to make sure birds at your partner farms were fed in the event of a closure? And what was the protocol for taking care of the birds at the plant when there were issues with processing? My questions were left unanswered, and I was not given a response from the executives. Reporting live in the studio, Hannah Holland, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Hannah.